There are many places in this world that we don't often think about. We take them for granted or just assume they will always be there. In fact, the things we see every day, from our homes to our jobs, are sometimes not as permanent as we think. But it is possible that one day in the future, we won't be able to enjoy some of the most beautiful places on Earth. One of these places are lakes. There are over 200 million lakes worldwide, and they cover approximately 4% of the Earth's surface. They come in all shapes and sizes, from vast, deep bodies of water like Lake Superior to small, shallow ponds. And they are home to a wide variety of plant and animal life. Lakes play an important role in the environment. They provide us with clean drinking water, food, and a place for recreation. But recently, more than 50% of the world's lakes have gone missing. Yes, you heard that right. The numbers are mind-boggling. This means that if we do not take action now, there may come a time when there are no more lakes left on Earth. So let us find out what is causing this silent crisis and what we can do to prevent it. The first step to solving any problem is identifying it. It sounds simple enough, but in this case, it has been easier said than done. One reason for this is that lakes are so ubiquitous that we often take them for granted. We may not even realize how lucky we are to live near one until it's too late. Another reason is that lakes are complex ecosystems. Just because a lake looks healthy on the surface does not mean it is. There are many factors that contribute to the health of a lake, such as the amount of nutrients in the water, the population of aquatic plants and animals, and the overall balance of the ecosystem. As such, scientists have developed a number of different ways to measure the health of a lake, and this can make it difficult to know which approach to take when trying to solve a problem. Finally, lakes are dynamic systems that change over time. Even healthy lakes can experience periods of stress due to natural fluctuations in climate or other factors. This means that even when we do identify a problem, it can be difficult to know how to fix it without causing more harm than good. Despite these challenges, scientists have made significant progress in understanding the threats facing our lakes and what we can do to protect them. One of the most significant threats to lake health is human activity. Pollution from sewage, agricultural runoff, and industrial discharge can all have negative impacts on lakes. Overfishing can also deplete the fish population and disrupt the balance of the ecosystem. In addition, climate change is causing rising water temperatures and changing precipitation patterns, which are stressing lakes around the world. Despite these threats, there is still hope for our lakes. By understanding the problems they face and taking action to address them, we can protect these vital ecosystems for future generations. Now that we've identified the issue, let's explore why it's happening. Why are our lakes disappearing? When we think of water disappearing, we usually imagine it evaporating off the surface of a lake or being used up by thirsty farmers and cities. But those processes take a long time. In the grand scheme of things, they haven't caused the dramatic loss of lakes we're seeing today. Instead, researchers say most of the world's missing lakes are victims of a more subtle and insidious fate. They're drying up one drop at a time as the water that feeds them dwindles underground. As groundwater disappears, it leaves behind a landscape of ecological devastation. Plants die, animals flee, and entire ecosystems collapse. In some cases, all that remains is a salty desert wind blowing across a barren moonscape. And in other cases, it leaves behind sinkholes that swallow unsuspecting hikers and houses alike. But perhaps even more insidious than the visible effects of groundwater depletion are the invisible ones. For example, as aquifers dry up, farmers are forced to drill deeper wells, which makes farming more expensive and less productive. This can lead to higher prices for consumers and even food shortages in some cases. In addition, as water tables drop, the quality of surface water also declines. Rivers and streams become polluted with salt and other contaminants that were once held in underground storage. This can make the water unsafe to drink and can damage the habitats of aquatic species. So why is groundwater disappearing so quickly? One major culprit is over-extraction. Humans have been pumping groundwater faster than it can recharge for decades, and in some areas, the situation is becoming dire. In other cases, drought and climate change are to blame. As temperatures rise, more water evaporates before it can reach the ground, and that reduces the amount of water that seeps into the soil. Whatever way it happens, the result is the same: less water for everyone. This brings us to the next question: what will happen if our lakes vanish? It is hard to overstate the importance of lakes to the environment and to human civilization. Covering nearly 5% of the Earth's surface, they are one of the most significant bodies of fresh water on the planet. And in terms of sheer numbers, there are estimated to be over 200 million lakes worldwide, each teeming with its own unique ecosystem of plants and animals. But despite their importance, lakes are under threat. Human activities such as pollution and overfishing are depleting their resources, while climate change is altering weather patterns and causing water levels to fluctuate. If current trends continue, many fear that one day our lakes could disappear altogether. But what would that mean for the rest of the planet? First and foremost, the loss of lakes would have devastating consequences for wildlife. Many species of fish and other aquatic animals rely on lakes for habitat and food. Without lakes, these animals would likely die off, along with the birds and mammals that rely on them for sustenance. In addition, the loss of lakes would have profound implications for humans. Not only are lakes a vital source of protein for billions of people, but they also provide us with clean drinking water and irrigation for crops. In many parts of the world, lakes are also an important source of income and economic activity through fishing and tourism. Without lakes, millions of people would likely face starvation and poverty. The disappearance of lakes would also have serious environmental consequences. Lakes play an important role in regulating the climate by absorbing carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases. In addition, lakes help to purify water by filtering out pollutants and sediments. Without lakes, the world would be a much less hospitable place for both humans and wildlife. While the thought of a future without lakes is bleak, it is not inevitable. With concerted effort, we can protect and restore lakes around the world. By reducing our consumption of fresh water, investing in sustainable agriculture, and combating climate change, we can ensure that lakes remain a vital part of our planet for generations to come. And now let's discuss the third point. Are our lakes the next casualty of climate change? It is undeniable that climate change is having a major impact on our planet. Rising sea levels, more extreme weather events, and changes in precipitation patterns are just a few of the ways that climate change is already affecting our lives. But one area that is often overlooked when discussing the impacts of climate change is lakes. Lakes are particularly vulnerable to the effects of climate change because they are so dependent on temperature and precipitation. Rising temperatures can lead to increased evaporation rates, which can cause water levels to drop. This can have a number of negative consequences, such as reduced water quality and less habitat for aquatic species. Additionally, warmer temperatures can also lead to more algal blooms, which can further degrade water quality. Changes in precipitation patterns can also have major impacts on lakes. For example, heavier rainfall can lead to flooding and the release of excess nutrients, which can again lead to algal blooms. On the other hand, droughts can cause water levels to drop so low that it becomes difficult for aquatic species to survive. The impacts of climate change on lakes are already being felt around the world. For example, in recent years, many of the Great Lakes in North America have experienced record low water levels, which has had major impacts on shipping and recreation. In Africa, the shrinking of Lake Victoria has had devastating consequences for the fish industry and the people who rely on it for income. And in Australia, The ongoing drought has caused many lakes to dry up completely, resulting in widespread ecological devastation. It is clear that climate change is having a major impact on our lakes. But the good news is that there are things we can do to mitigate these impacts. By reducing our carbon footprint and investing in renewable energy, we can slow down the rate of climate change and give our lakes a better chance of survival. We can also take steps to improve the health of individual lakes, such as reducing pollution and overfishing. These efforts may not be able to reverse the impacts of climate change entirely, but they can help protect our precious lakes from further damage. In conclusion, lakes are essential to our planet's health and well-being. They provide us with food, water, and a place for recreation. But unfortunately, they are disappearing at an alarming rate. By understanding the causes of this phenomenon and taking action to address it, we can protect these vital ecosystems for future generations. It is our responsibility to ensure that our children and grandchildren can enjoy the benefits of lakes just as we have. By working together, we can make sure that never disappears. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. Until next time.